So here he is, Australia's favourite Bassmaster Elite Series pro, Carl Jocumsen. Good to catch up for a bit of a catch up for the end of the Elite Series, mate. It was a hectic tour this year. You had a lot of events squeezed in, didn't you?
Yeah, this is in my 10 years here now. This is the earliest we've ever been finished. Last year was the latest we've ever been finished. It went with everything that happened with the delayed events and everything. I ended up fishing my final open in December last year, so that made it crazy to get everything ready and roll out of that, and then straight into fishing. The start of February, I think we started fishing this year. So super fast turnover. There was literally no off season, and then now we're we finished about mid July, end of July, and we're done for the year as far as the Elite Series goes. But we crammed 9 pack tournaments in there and a couple of opens, and I still got a couple of opens to go. But all the elites are said and done, and it was hectic, but I kind of like it that way. I definitely like just fishing non-stop. I always seem to do well as we keep rolling and keep fishing. So I enjoyed it this year. It was a fun one.
Yeah, and look, from a spectator's point of view, it seemed like every other week we were up to burning the midnight oil watching Bassmaster live. You know, epic coverage that Bassmaster has. They're winning that game by miles and miles. The coverage, you know, everyone's talking about who won the Bassmaster Elite Tournament. Basically, nothing else. Great to see another couple of internationals win this year. I think we had Taku win that last one, who I think was the most popular winner since Carl Jocumsen.
Yeah, no, it was awesome to see him win because, you know, similar story coming from, you know, another country. I think with stuff that's happened, his wife and his child had to stay back in Japan. He's over here on his own, just grinding it out. He was kind of like me. I could see me, you know, when I was first starting off, just going from all I did was fish and drive from tournament to tournament. There was nothing else I had to do. I just had to do that. And that's literally what he's been doing. Like when he finishes a tournament, he's practicing for the next one. And, you know, a lot of us do that, but he's on a whole other level. Like, I mean, he's not doing anything but staying on the road. He doesn't have a base. He just goes from, and so, you know, a lot of people are like, oh, good on him, or you can't even say luck, nothing. It's like, this is what happens when you put that amount of work and time in it. So he was idling around Ontario for weeks and weeks and weeks before cut off and finding rock piles, and it all paid off for him. So it was cool because it doesn't always pay off like that, but it's cool to see when someone puts that amount of effort and time in that it all comes back and pays it off. And he did it, and you can just see how grateful and happy he is. He's a fan favorite for sure.
Oh yeah, I think Zona said on live he was a human highlight reel, and it is. The boys have to say nothing; they just shut their mouths and let him talk.
Let him go.
It's entertaining viewing.
No, it's awesome. It's awesome, and he's his boat is another level too. He has everything you can imagine electronics wise. He's got more graphs than anyone. He's got forward facing, and then he's got like the landscape mode on different graphs with lake. He has every different type of graph to maximize whether he wants Lake Master and this. Like, he's dialed in. Like, it's not luck. He's one of the I've just seen just a little bit that I've talked to him and seen his boat. I'm like, he's super dialed in. He's definitely one of the best.
Well, let's talk a little bit about that, about forward facing sonar. The Humminbird Live was released recently, and you've now joined the club of people that can see what's actually happening out in front in real time. And how has that affected your fishing, and how much props do you give it?
Oh, it's everything, you know, just seeing it over the last couple of years and not having it has been frustrating, but I've had 360 when other guys haven't. So 360 has been my biggest advantage over everyone that hasn't had it for years. And then when you look, everyone that's had forward-facing sonar has utilised 360 with it. So when you're seeing Patrick Walters and all the people that changed over and went that way, they all had 360 with it. Anyone that really mastered it, they had those two together. It's like they just go together perfectly. So I put it on. I got it from the Bassmaster Classic. They gave me one. I had to hide it basically and run it to the car. And I drove from Texas back to Tennessee, went down and seen Trent Palmer at Sonar Pros. He's on Lanier, and we fit it all up, got it dialed in. We went straight out on the lake on the brush poles, and we just compared it to how he has his set, and then he helped me sort of dial it in. I got to dial it in. I saw how it would work, and instantly knew this was just going to be like, I learnt more on the water in that 3 hours about spotted bass than I have in my 10 years here. Like, it was insane. Just seeing the way they were reacting, how they were coming off the brush poles, what they were doing to the bait and then going back, or whether they did go back or sit under the boat. I was like, this is crazy. And then my very first tournament with it is the very next weekend on Lake Champlain, and I have my best finish of the year. I think I ended up 13th, 13 ounces out of the top 10 cut. Was sitting in, 4th after day 1, and then 8th after day 2, and then just made a bit of a slip on day 3. And caught every single fish basically from it. And on the last day, it was 1:30. I had 3 fish for 6 pounds. I'm due in at 3 o'clock. And at Champlain, like, I was in 8th or 7th going into day 3. And if you don't catch them, you just drop to 45th. Like, you don't drop to 20th or 30th, or like, everyone's going to catch them. So if you don't catch like 15 plus, you're going backwards big time. So I've got 6 pounds and it's 1:30, and I was on top of this hump, and I swung that live across, and it caught this boulder that I didn't even know was there, and it had 30 bass sitting on top of it. And I got lined up with them and made the cast, and I watched them all come up off the rock and chase my bait, and I caught them every cast there and ended up with 17 something pounds. And that helped me stay in the elites. It helped me get back in classic contention, like everything. So I'm like just so excited to fish every day now that I have that, because it's just, I don't know how to explain it. If you don't have it, it's just like, if there's not a fish inside that live view, then don't make a cast. Like, there's nothing there. It's crazy. Like, I can't believe how many wasted casts I've made over the time, because now I know, like, if there's nothing there, nothing's going to bite. I'm excited to finally have it.
Well, let's talk about, you said it helped you re-qualify for the elites. Tell us about those cutoffs and how it's calculated, and how close you got to being an opens angler again.
Yeah, pretty close. So Bass decided they want to try and get the field down to 90 and potentially 80. And so that meant they were going to relegate 23, 24 anglers, which, and then you have another 15 coming in from, or 12 coming in from the opens. And so that dug into people a lot. When I got kicked out in 2016, they only kicked out, I think, maybe 10 people, but there was 110 in the elites then. Yeah. And so they sort of, and then they were trying to save, what really hurt me is they were trying to save the legends like Clun and a lot of the, well, not just Clun, but a lot of the guys that went to the other side now, but they were trying to look after those guys, so they made a legend rule, and that's what got me kicked out, because they wanted to bring another legend in, and I was the next to go. So if that rule wasn't in, I would have stayed in. But I understand it, and they're working around a lot of things, just trying to make it. They're definitely listening to us a lot more, and I've got much more of a voice, and I've helped a lot of things. Like when I got kicked out in 16, I rang Bass and said, I just got kicked out of the elites. I need to get in the opens, and the opens were full, and I couldn't get in. And I was like, are you kidding? Like, I'm just fished the elites, and now I can't fish the opens. And they didn't know that was kind of a problem. So like that because of me, that's now a rule. Like the guys that get kicked out get automatic entry into the opens, and like I got to change a lot of things like that. So it was pretty cool, like that they listen now. So we've got emails going, and we've got sort of big votes and stuff like that, and that Bass are continually sending out, how can we make this better? Is this good? What rules can we change? And so they're a lot more open to evolving a bit better to help, the guys that are in there, that are established. And but it's definitely a bit of a cutthroat deal, because, now there's about 23 guys that are established elite guys that are now going back to the opens. But I snuck in there by about 3 or 4 guys. So I was pretty good in the end, but I had to catch them at that last one. Like I had to catch them at them last 2, and I did that and did my job and got in there. So I was happy with that.
Yeah. I think it's nerve-wracking for you and all of us, mate. It's just as hard for the fans as it is for the angler. Well, not really, but we like to think it. Tell us, the Central Opens are on your calendar now. It's probably the last way you've got to make the Classic. Maybe if you win an Open, do you go into the Classic?
Yep. So with my Champlain finish, like I jumped right up to where I had a really good shot to make my first Bassmaster Classic. I just had to catch him at St. Lawrence River, and I've done so well there in the past. I love that river. And I literally caught 16 pounds a day, and I lost a 6-pounder on day 2. And like, that was the difference. I had to make that day 3 cut and make a small jump. And I'm in there. Like, I was so close to making the Classic. It was crazy. And, it just wasn't meant to be, I just, like, the difference between catching 16 and 17 a day is nothing. Like, it's ridiculous. And that was the difference between making it. So, I just had bad timing there a little bit, and I would always make the risky run and go to the lake, and I played it a little safe and tried to stay on stuff in the river, and I probably shouldn't have done that. I probably should have just ran, but that's all the stuff you live and learn by. But the good part is, stayed in the elites, did my job there. I didn't, because, making that big risky run could have paid off and made the Classic and done all of that, but it could have really went bad and I caught nothing on day 1 or 2, which could have happened running to the lake, and did happen. And then now I'm out of the elites and not in the Classic. So I got to look at the positives. So I did my job to stay in the elites and give us another shot. And I have the 2 Central Opens left. So I fished Pickwick and the Central Open, and I come 11th there. And so I've had a good finish already in the first one. And now I've got Smith Lake and Grand Lake, which I think are back-to-back in October. And so they're a little ways away, but I'm going to get a decent pre-practice on Smith. And, I fished Grand for years with Fred out in Oklahoma, and I've fished Smith a bunch here. I've had some top 12s there in the Opens, like some of my original Opens that I fished. So 2 really good 2 good lakes, and they're both in October, tough times of year where I've won 10 killer and had my best finishes in that fall sort of tough bite. So I'm pretty excited for those 2 Centrals, and I was entered into the US Open at Lake Mead, and because got delayed, they put Smith right over the US Open, so now we can't do the US Open.
That sucks.
Otherwise, it would have had.
That's your gateway to the US.
I know, that's like the best, that's a tournament that I want to win one day. Like, that's a bucket list for sure. And it's still my favorite tournament, that I've ever fished. And I just get good feelings from it, from all that stuff back then and everything, the way it all happened. So I do want to get back out there, but they've sort of changed the dates, which are earlier, so it's not as hot and it's better fishing. And but it seems to always line up with an Open or an Elite or something like that. But that Bill Egan is doing an unbelievable job. Like, that he's getting 200 to 250 boats there now, and a lot of Elite Series guys are going out there, and Iconelli and Martins and all the big names are starting to head back out and fish it. So it's really rejuvenating and getting its name back. And, I think it's $100,000 again, and $100,000 in a boat for first. So it's getting pretty good. So
it's a good
when everything opens up, a good one for the Aussies to come over when everything gets back to normal again.
When we're allowed. Hey, one final thing I want to talk to you about is normally you're in a big rush at the end of the year to turn your boat over and sell it, get your new boat together. Do you have a little bit more time this year to get it all sorted? It seems like you're pretty happy with your current rig.
Yeah, I absolutely love this boat. Like, honestly, this is the one that I would just keep now forever if I could. The Falcon's been unbelievable, and just the way my graphs and everything are set up, and the engine. But it's already sold. So my boat is sold, but I'm not changing it over until I get my new one. And I'm just like, we'll have everything way more organized. Last year was, and every year just seems to be so hectic. Like, it's the scariest time. The worst part right now is getting inventory, like engines and parts and things are so hard to get. That's going to be our biggest sort of thing to worry about. But everything's looking a little bit smoother now. So just more time and more. I want to, we just don't get any time to work on anything else. It seems like you're just going like from one year to the next, and you just don't sort of get time to sit back and say, hey, what's a good different avenue, like wrap or chase or anything, any new thing. But it's so hard because you're busy, where now I can work. I want the Fear My Heart stuff to get bigger. We're working on doing the bigger cleanup stuff and involving Fear My Heart, my sponsors in that, and working on other business side of things, and then looking at a different design for the wrap or, anything like that. There's just, I'm like, my mind's got lots to do. It's going to be busy. You're going to be working for sponsors, but cool stuff, because I get to like think about how we can change it up for next year, and and then just be more, everything's more organized, especially tackle wise. I'm sort of getting in. I'm almost in heaven right now with my tackle, because it's getting super organized, and it's never been like that. And so now I've got more time to really dial it in. And then we've got the schedule already out, so I can be like, okay, Florida stuff ordered, got it in, and then ready, packed. And then what's the next one? And I'll have everything lined up and ready to roll. But, this has definitely been my smoothest year as far as just enjoying it. Zero excuses for anything. I know I'm as dialed in as I can get. The last thing I ever needed was live to sort of get me back up to scratch with the people that had it, and now I have that. So I'm pretty excited for next year.
Well, speaking and this is the very last thing, speaking of some of your sponsors, TH Marine's a big sponsor of yours. Give us a shout out for these for the magnetic tackle Titan racks. I've been putting them in my boat recently. These things are gold, aren't they?
Yep, they're awesome. I've got 2 of them in my boat. They got the magnetic strip, and you got the hook, like bunch of stuff from TH, and you've got the Hydro Waves in stock, haven't you?
Yeah. We do Hydro Waves and the Kong mount. So it's some good gear, and it's good to see a lot of the stuff that the guys buy through our store sitting on your boat there. But I just remember that you're the same as me. At the end of the day, you'd have a cup holder that's full of like a pile of lures and a tangle of lures. It's like now I have a very organized tangle of lures with the magnetic.
No, it's perfect. It's perfect for drying them out and just keeping the rust off them and just putting them up there. And then at the end, or sometimes I put them up there before the tournament starts. Like, I'll rig all my rods, have them all laid out. And then I'm like, I want to throw that color or a chatterbait and that spinnerbait. And so I'll hang the lures up so I don't forget to throw that. Like, I've got to throw that bait. And so I'll have the ones up. I'll have them on the ones that I want to throw up there. And then I'll have one empty for all the guys that don't make the cut.
Fair call, mate. Look, it's been great following you. It's great to see you got some time on Bassmaster Live towards the end of the year. And all Aussie fans, mate, we try to get a shout out from Mike Sukan every time, and I think we did the last time you were there. He always has to give a shout out to the fans over here. So great to see you, mate. I think I'll give you a call after you qualify for the Classic and one of the next 2 elite events. I mean, next 2 open events, all right?
Yeah, that'll be perfect. As soon as I win it, give me a call. We'll do it. We'll do an interview.
Thanks for joining us, mate.
Appreciate everyone. Appreciate all the Aussies, ABT, all the support. I see the Aussies wearing Fear My Heart gear on my jerseys. We got to do another jersey run. I do get a lot of people asking for that. So we've got to do something like that. But yeah, just say Kayla and I, we watch every single one of the messages. I see the Team Jocumsen page and everything that gets posted, and just we appreciate it so much, and it means the world to us. And we read every comment. Kayla makes sure I see them all. And did you see this? So Kayla's always staying up on it. But as these centrals come up, I'll keep posting and follow us along, and give us some big fish vibes for that one.
No worries. And here's the deal. If you have a new jersey design, you got some time now, new wrap, new jersey design, we'll do a new runner shirt so all your fans can get involved. How's that sound?
Okay. Yep. Perfect. Let's do it.
All right, mate. Thanks for joining us.
Okay. See ya.